Hello, so this is the fourth video in this series for Microsoft Project 2010. In the earlier videos, we've already talked about tasks, resources, and even covered the ideas of reports. In this video, I'm going to talk about a little bit of formatting features and some custom fields that you can create in your project. And before I go ahead, I just wanted to talk about a few things which you already covered. I just wanted to do a reminder. Under project, you've got the option called project information, and in here you can go to statistics, and here is all your statistics available to you: cost, start date, finish date. And in the previous video I talked about resource leveling. I didn't use that word. I talked about how to deal with over allocation. So I've added myself again on some tasks, and you see the red warnings start to come up, which tells me that maybe project thinks that there is some over allocation going on. So to fix this problem, there is the word they use is called leveling. So under resource, there is this level option. You can go into the leveling option and you can choose how do you want to go about leveling it, by what criteria and by what order. So you can choose those things. There is an automatic level, but people don't recommend this at all. They say because this will make a big problem. So you can hit level all and it will do leveling, and you can read the information there based on whatever is set in the leveling options. You can also level by a resource. So say I click here and I can click level by resource, and it highlights both laborer and me because I've added both of ourselves, and I click level now, and it will adjust by splitting job or pushing the jobs around so that there is no split. So you see the project date got moved a little further ahead because project has expanded the dates. Take care of the leveling. So those are the two things I wanted to talk about. Now just a little bit of a fun stuff, like you can highlight certain lines, like say if I click here and I can go to task and I can make it a certain color if I want it. I could even highlight multiple things and I can put colors on it and background colors. So all of those options that we do in Microsoft Word, they're available here. The other thing you can do is you can just go to format, text styles, and here I can choose, say for example, the items to change. I can say, all the milestones, I want them to be in color, in a certain color. So I can say all milestones should be in this color, say for example. And there are other things you can set to. So now all the milestones will have that color. Or if I go back and I can say my summary, so I can look for all my summary tasks. They should be a certain color, so I can go ahead and pick a certain color and I click OK. Now you see the summary tasks have that color automatically. So that's about formatting these things. You can also run a spell check on them. The spell check is under format, and is it here, the spelling check? The spelling check is under project. Under project there is the spelling check, and you can always press F7 to start the spelling check. There is also the option to sort things, so you can use options to sort things in whatever order you want it to be. So under view you'll find the option called sorting, so you can sort things by various things, and also you'll find the option here to filter, which is this section right here. So you can sort and filter. And under task you'll find that you can find things. If you wanted to find certain things, you can use that option. The next thing I want to show you is that there are many different ways to view things. So if I go to view, I can choose to view things in different way. Under task, I can go to Gantt chart or resource sheet, or I can go to task usage. So there are many different views that you can look on, And you can customize that view, you can save that view, and you can even create your own views. So under view, you can go to other view, more views, and I can look for, say I want to take the detail Gantt, and I can copy it and I can give it my name. And you can then go ahead and pick whatever values you want in the table, whatever values you want in that view. You can choose that table group or all task, or you want to just put the summary task, or I can say show me all the milestones, and I can even say showing menu. So there's the name, and I click OK, and I click apply. Now it only shows me that view, which is I've customized it. So you can add whatever values you want and customize it any ways you want it, and it will be listed here. And I can go back to a Gantt, which has these things up here. The same way under view, there is an option for calendar, so you can view your calendar, and you can do the same thing. You can go to more views, copy, and you can create your own calendar view however you want it to be, or you can edit this one. Cancel. And under view, you can do the same thing with tables. So you can click on more tables, but I think it's better if I just go back to Gantt chart. Now under tables, I can choose to show cost. So now I can see all the cost pretty quickly. I can choose to show the work, how many hours and who's working on what. Summary, usage. So there are many different ways of looking at your table under view. And you can do the same thing. I can go to more tables, and I can copy any of the tables, and then I can create my own, because I don't want to change the way these are. So I can take any of these tables and I can copy it, and then I can do whatever I want to do with it. I can insert rows as I want it. I can add more things, and I can click OK. I will come back to the Gantt chart. To a Gantt, yeah. Now, if I wanted, I can insert a column here. Any of these columns I wanted, I can right click here, go to insert column, and I'm going to type WBS. And there is this thing called WBS. I'm going to choose it. So you see it puts like 1, 1.1, 1.2. Task 2 is 2, 2.1. So it's just showing you a numbering system, and you can change this numbering system if you wanted to. It's under project, WBS, define code, and I can say, you know what, I want it to be numbers, lowercase alphabet, sorry. And I click OK, and it changes to A.1, A.2. So just a way to show the numbering system, and you can define it. The next we'll look at the Gantt chart itself. I can right click on the chart. I can show the split, which you might be familiar with it from earlier. The split is really good because you can click on any of the tasks and you can start seeing what's happening in there. And then you can right click on this part. You can choose to show the work, so you can see the work. You can right click, you can choose to see the cost. So you can right click and choose different things from here itself, and that's available from either right click. You can even go to the task and you're using the detail options, or you can come to the corner here. When you see that symbol, double click and it takes away the split. You can right click and you can go to grid lines, and I can say, you know, the grid lines, let's see, I want the current date to be solid, and I want the current date to be red in color. So you see the current date turned into red. Right click, grid lines, and there are all these different things you can change into whatever you want it to be, whatever colors you want, whatever options you want it to use. The same way, you can right click, you can go to bar styles, and then you can choose what the bar style should be for different things. So say the milestones, I want the milestone color to be this color, and I can click OK. Where are my milestones? For some reason, my milestone color didn't change. I'm not sure. I'll try it one more time with something else. Right click, bar styles. I'll go to summary. And you see there's all the start, middle, and the end. And I want to just change the middle color. I'll make it say red. And I click OK. And there it is. The summary showed up in red. I can even right click and I can go to non-working time. And I can say that all the days which are off, I want it to be certain color. So I can choose it to be, say, this color. So they show up in that way. Okay. I'll just hit undo to not have that color. You can even right click here and choose to show the timeline. So timeline is this thing that shows up on the top. You can right click and you can remove the timeline. You can also right click, go to layout, and you can choose whether you want just like this type of a layout or you want this type of a link. So it just shows it in a different way. Nothing special here, just something cool little tricks. And there is one more thing here under format, and in this format there is one more format, and there is an option called bar and bar styles. So in the bar I can go to bar text. Now I can choose here on the left, say I can say, you know what, up here show the cost on the left of the bar. That means right here in front of the bar the cost should come up. And what do I want on the right? Right now it says resource name, that is who is the person in charge of this particular job. And then you can have something on the top or the bottom or the inside. I'll click OK, and you see that cost is added there in the front. It says $0. I don't know why the other stuff hasn't come up, but all the cost will start to come up there. Wherever they are added, they should start to come. So that's format, bar, and the bar text, and you can choose what is it that you want. And the top, bottom, inside, you can choose something, whatever you wanted it. Okay. And under format there's bar styles, which is the same thing that brought us here, which we get when you right click and you go to bar styles. The next thing to look at is regarding the calendar that all the people working on this project are using. When you go to project and change working time, there is a standard calendar here. But if you want it, I can create a new calendar and I can give it my name. And I can even just make a copy of the standard so I don't have to redo the whole thing. I can click OK. Now that calendar is selected on the top, and I can change the work week. Default, I can go to details and I can say, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is all set up to Friday. I can go to Saturday and I can set specific time. Click here and I can say that from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll work on Saturday. Now I can apply this calendar to whichever resource I want it to be. So I can click OK and I can go to task and I'll just go to the resource sheet, which you can come from here or from under view, resource sheet. And I can double click on my name and I can go to the calendar option and apply this particular calendar to myself. So I can go to change working time and I can say apply Amir's calendar to this guy. So I've applied that calendar to me. I can click OK and you'll see there is also a option here called base calendar. So if this guy wasn't even there, you could always right click and insert a column and look for an option called base calendar. So you can change the calendar from here if you wanted to. So you can have different calendars and apply different timings to different people if their work hours were different. So you can do it in this way. The next thing I want to show you is how to create a custom field. So while we're in the resource sheet, I want to create, say, a custom field that will allow me to calculate. Say I want to figure out what the tax is on my cost, whatever that might be. Like I just want to figure out, say it's 13%, I need to pay tax on everything. So you can go to Format, Custom Fields, and I want to look for a type cost because I want to do something with cost. And there are these fields that you can rename, you can and you can edit it. So I want to do a cost and I want to do a formula, and I can click on the formula button here, and I've already entered it. So what I did is I'm going to redo it. I go to this option called field, cost, choose cost, multiply by 0.13, which is 13%. And just to give you an indication, they have all kind of functions here for date, numbers, and functions here for different things, if functions. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. And something got entered if you wanted to do some formulas or functions. And or I can click OK. You might get a warning message. You just accept it and click OK. Now if I want to add that field, that column here, I can right click here, insert, type the word cost, and I want cost 1. So it puts 13% of cost up here wherever you wanted it. The same way you can add custom fields for all kind of things. So say I wanted a text, and there was a text 1, and I want to do a lookup. So I can click here, and then I can just type a value, say yes and no. So whatever values I wanted, I can even put a description here. And if you wanted, you could even set a default value by clicking on something, and you can set it as default. And I can click close, and I can click OK. Now I'll come back to the Gantt chart, and say I wanted to add a field in here somewhere for yes or no, or wherever. I can right click here, insert, and I type the word text, and there is text 1. And now in places I should be able to do that. For some reason it's not working. I'm not sure why it didn't work. I just went back and looked at it again, and it was something had gone wrong. So I might have not hit OK. So under lookup, that option is there, and I click OK. Now I get the drop down. So that's a nice feature when you wanted to add a lot of stuff and you'll be typing it all the time, and you could apply it in many different places to have lookup or these type of things. And I wanted to do one more of the format, custom field, and this time I want to do a number. So they have number 1 2 3 4 5 6, and in here I want to do a formula, and I want to do a formula that will allow me to put a percentage thing. So let's see, percentage work complete under field, and I'm going to click OK. Click OK to the warning, and I can go to the graphical indicators, and here I can say that okay, if it is less than 25, I want it to be red in color. If it is less than 50, I want it to be yellow. If it is less than 75, I want it to be, say, some color. Scroll down, and I'll put one more. You can put as many as you want, less than or equal to 100, and I'll say I want it to be green. I can click OK, and I can click OK. Now I'll just right click and hide this column, and I'll right click and insert the column number 1, and you can rename it to call it whatever you want. So now we see the colors showed up. So wherever it is the percentages, they've been showing up as colors. So I just want to give you an idea that how powerful the custom fields can be. So wherever you need it, you can go into your resource sheet, you can add certain combinations with cost, multiply, you have a profit loss thing going on, you can do profit minus loss and just come up with, sorry, cost, sales minus your cost and come up with profits and all that kind of stuff. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff here. Now the last thing I wanted to tell you is how to take the custom fields we've created and move it to what's called the Go Global template so that it is available to you in all of your files every time you use it. So to do that, you can go to View, Other View, and you can click on More Views. Click on Organizer, and you'll find that there is the global MPT on this side, and this is the house reno. That is the name of the file on this side. So whichever you wanted to apply to the global, say the Amir Gantt, that's a view I created, I can move it over to the global, and it's already added to the global in this case. I can do that same thing with the fields. You see there is these fields I created, so I can take it and I can copy it over to the global side, so that these fields I'll be able to use it everywhere. That's why when you create those fields, it'll be good if you rename it to something better so that there is no confusion. Same with calendars. You see there is the Amir calendar that I can copy over, and if I had a table, I'll have those tables I can move over. So everywhere with reports, maps, groups, so all of these things you can copy over so that they're available to you till the future, so that all your new files will have this, so you can keep using it without having to recreate it over and over again. So that's it for this video. Most probably we'll have one more video talking about some other topics.